Okay, for those of you listening to the audio podcast, we also release the show with video visuals on YouTube. So if you like some pretty pictures to go along with our pretty voices, search for Digital Suffering Podcast on YouTube to find us. Let's get the show on the road. Hello, and welcome to episode 10 of the Digital Suffering Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Something. We have...
PhamtomLimb.
And we have... when he's composed himself.
James.
Oh my god! Right, you edited out the first opening, but you're gonna leave this stuff in, are you? Right. Moving swiftly on.
Amazing.
The first game up we have is Remnant. This is forthcoming. How far along is this?
It's far along.
Does any kind of announced date or anything, or is it just it's just coming along?
It's just coming along, man. I looked up the date for this a week ago, so forgive me if it's wrong, but I thought it was like an August 20th release or something like that.
Yeah. But they've not really announced anything. But
I can't say for 100% certainty. I might flag something up on the video to say, yeah, I was correct. Okay. So, but it seems like it's coming soon, sort of. Yeah, it's very much a tweaking process now, rather than we're still making assets. Cool. This is like there's a game engine in place, there's graphics in place, there's combat, and all the things you'd expect are there. It looks like a refining process more than anything else. Okay.
I guess we should talk a bit about the game. So, from our initial impressions of what we've seen, it's kind of similar to the Soulsborne style kind of games. Post-apocalyptic future, the world has been taken over by a Cthulhu-esque demon horde, and as a member of Humanity's survivors, you have to battle against that and fight back. Its main selling point.
Did you write a story for this?
Yes, I did.
Oh, right.
Its main selling point, beyond the trope of the other games in this style, is that it's very heavily featuring ranged combat. Set in the post-modern day, characters have access to guns of all varieties, shotguns, machine guns, etc. And the ranged combat does make a lot of the encounters seem a lot easier than they perhaps should be. I don't know.
Trivial?
Yes. We watched a number of players. We watched some of the devs play it and stuff. And for the most part, a lot of the encounters seem easy to the point where unless you get swamped by a fair number, you can handle them very easily with ranged combat, only falling back to melee if they come too close. And it seems in larger open areas that's never a necessity. We don't know how far, what later levels are going to be like, but
it seems quite easy to outfox the enemies as well in terms of movement.
Your character is very highly mobile, which is always a good thing. It's always nice to have games where you're not tied down because your characters
but they don't share your
but the enemies aren't scaled appropriately.
Nimbleness or whatever what the phrase is, I don't know.
Also, a good thing this is that the enemies seem to react to the bullets rather than being just bullet sponges that just soak it all up and keep coming regardless. So you can stun them and they'll rock back. So yeah, that's a good thing.
It's always
There's
nice.
Some weight to it.
Yeah, it's nice to see impact instead of them just rushing towards you, and you have no idea of how effective your bullets are. The fact that it does stagger enemies, always nice.
Those little guys remind me of Ewoks.
Exploding Ewoks.
the best kind, I believe.
Who doesn't like an exploding teddy bear?
Well, I guess the Ewoks probably might not, but
Come
But yeah, so the game seems to feature sort of... oh yes, that's right. It's kind of got roguelike elements in that the level generation is dynamically generated upon loading.
Mm-hmm.
But so you got like a non-linear level, but with linear objectives. You have to like get to the end of the level. It's just that how you get there is not necessarily obvious because you have to navigate the sewers or the buildings or whatever that the game engine throws at you. Also, another feature that they mention is that with the dynamic generation, that the loot drops and the bosses follow the same rules, so that if you were looking to get like epic gear that perhaps one of the bosses drops, selecting, say, the industrial zone is no guarantee that the particular boss you're looking for will appear there, because the wild bosses are dynamically dropped in, so you may run a certain area multiple times and never get the boss you're looking for, which means that if you're looking to build get sets of gear for the for bonuses or whatever, it can prove to be frustrating because you get a run of bad RNG, and what takes someone else a few runs may take you 20, 30, 40. You may never get one.
But like if anything, it's better because I'd prefer random over set any day of the week.
Well, I mean, yes, but the thing is, if you say, well, that you can have random levels and stuff,
because getting a thing from a certain character sucks.
But think of it like Monster Hunter. You're trying to get like something from Devil Joe or whatever the character, the creature is called. You know that if you farm that guy, he's going to drop bits of himself.
Yeah, that's literally bits of him, though.
Yeah.
It's not like
but
the Kingslayer sword or gun of infinite... The Golden Gun.
Yes, the Golden Gun.
You've had to fight Christopher Lee or Scaramanga.
You got to farm Christopher. You got to farm Christopher Lee for the Golden Gun.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we don't know that.
Yeah, but what was the little chap's name, though? What was the little chap's name?
I don't know. Handjob.
Getting slightly sidetracked. We don't know that if it works the same way that the bosses drop particular sets, in that it's related to the boss, or it's just this boss drops a particular epic rare. But the thing is, if it is that case, it will prove frustrating to the player because it's going to be much more difficult to get what you're looking for. You're likely to you just play the game and get stuff on random.
Isn't most of the stuff that's dropped parts anyway for you to build, and then the parts that drop from the bosses are
maybe it's rarer materials.
Parts, yeah. As I remember, I think it's that.
It could be that. Well, that's fine then. But if you say like the dragon boss drops dragon material, so you can get like the dragon armor, then you need to hunt down the dragon. And then if the dragon isn't spawning where you want the dragon to be...
Either way, right? It's all meant for you to play the game more and get more out of the game. Also, another factor with the randomly generated boss positions and things like that is also traits that the bosses have. So one time you fight a mid-level boss and he might have health regen. Another time he might have heavy armor, so it'll be harder to kill. They have random traits as well.
Which spices up the encounters somewhat.
Yeah, so it's not going to be run-of-the-mill every time. I used X tactic to beat...
Unless all the traits are like, increased health or regeneration or heavy armor, because all of them equal the same thing. They equal the same thing.
Yeah. So I used DPS to kill him this time.
As opposed to DPS... Oh, wait a minute. I'm sensing a pattern. Yeah, so if it's like, this time he has fire breath or, an additional attack, or something, different behavioural patterns, that spices it up because some of these games can be a grind. But
now entering
the grind,
went for a fog wall. I wonder where he got that from.
Now entering
any game ever.
Now passing through a blatant transition zone. Yes, Gorefist has been one of the mini bosses they enter it.
How many different transitions he's got? He's got 4.
Another thing, destructible environments in certain situations. NPCs are also random.
Yeah. So if you're trying to find a particular vendor, good luck.
NPCs are random.
Yeah, the NPCs are random spawn as well. So you can run a level and not find vendors or NPCs you're looking for. But I think some of it may be just like quest giving, I suppose. So
you're screwed, mate.
You find
this
this
root rock takes hours to drain away.
Well, the thing is, I think part of the mechanic for this boss fight is that you time the explosions of the puffballs. You shoot them when they're running past him, and the explosions will do additional damage. Because you can see that would be a great time to do it, but without paying attention, because you can see that particular explosion did do damage on him. So
there's some friendly fire as well.
Enemy interaction is always a nice thing, because it's like some games where all the enemies they're just like shooting and they're all focused on you, and it's like crazy stuff happen. Like it's like Doom, where
infighting.
You could have the enemies hit each other, which didn't happen very often, unfortunately.
That's what made it so good, though, because when it did happen, it was sweeter.
Yeah. I
I remember that on
the Cyber Demon fighting
the original Quake. You could get them.
Yeah. But it was generally difficult, and you didn't want to hang around long enough for it to happen, because they tended to pay attention to you.
Kill you first.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mechanics in this game. One is the melee versus ranged combat mechanic. Is if you aim down sights, you're shooting. If you're not aim down sights, you're melee. So one button attack for everything. There's a three levels of combo, shall I say, where it's just consecutive strikes, and the third is the finish. You can do a harder version where you hold down the button, and it makes the attack slower but a little bit stronger. So if it's, in theory, I suppose, if you're staggering an enemy with each hit, you can kind of take the time. There's a few things like rolls and other things where you can actually do the third hit of the combination in the sequence. And then there's other things like traits that you can find throughout the world and probably purchase, I guess, where they change things about your character, so you can be more support based or more tanky, so like extra healing zone area or things like that, or pets even, that you attach the skill to the weapon you're using, and when you do it, when you have enough energy to do it, it basically, I think it might scale off of kills or amount of damage you're outputting, and then you can summon a little helper, and you can have more than one, so you can become like a sort of shaman necro
dancer. Sorry.
like a minion build almost. I've seen a couple of examples of on here where you're not doing the damage.
Who do you make minions?
So it's a thing. Some game enemies.
Those little weird enemies with the knives that were rushing you. Those little ball.
The Ewoks.
Type. Ewoks, yeah.
Yeah, you can summon. I saw somebody with like 5 or 6 of those.
Didn't they summon like
you summon
a dog enemy as well?
You summon them. You don't like brainwash them or charm them or whatever.
Summon.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you deplete them, you have to go back to another level.
Well,
find something.
Yeah.
It becomes tedious, because the
You're like Diablo 2 and the Necromancer.
Yeah, go and get the Unga or whatever his name was.
Go and get the hardest enemies and then rush the harder.
Yeah, can you imagine? Yeah, you could. Right, mini boss, you work for me now.
Well, actually, I don't think you could work. I don't think you could pick up bosses.
You couldn't get bosses, right?
Or uniques, but like I remember the massive tree. They carried a tree around with the massive Frankenstein things.
Yeah,
they were really tough.
Actually, speaking on that, Path of Exile literally just updated the things that you could revive as minions, and they included mid-level bosses, which came with all their powers. And a day after this patch hit, saw like the most crazy
mid-level, because you just collect,
because they live forever as well.
That's a touch. Just a touch OP.
Yeah. It was just like 4 of them raining fire down on enemies, and it was just like everyone's dead.
Why would you not want to have that build? Because that would just be
boring
hilarious.
As hell.
Well, not at least for the first playthrough, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, but surely you could only have one of those, though, right?
I think this person had multiples.
Maybe they're limited. They treat each one as a minion, and then you're just your minion cat.
Yeah, but surely there's a minion scale. Surely.
I don't think they implement. It doesn't sound like they implemented one.
Man alive.
Because you should do is have like points and say, right,
Yeah.
this is worth 100 points,
Yeah,
so you
can
get
have
one.
700 zombies, but only one flipping.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't explored it, but because it looks boring to me. But yeah. Anyway, back to this game. There's loads of different guns. There's loads of different melee weapons. So, and then you've got like armor, helmets, boots, blah blah blah. So you got a little bit of fashion, but they also have traits as well, where they give you resistances, or and there's set bonuses as well, like how much you get healed and other things. So there's a lot of things in this game that you'll be sort of customizing over time, shall we call it.
How excited are you by this game?
Remnant from the Ashes.
Remnant from
I
the
am.
Ashes.
If 10 was excited and 7 meant nothing,
then you're a 6.
How do you dodge in a direction?
I'm a strong 5.
Because it says space to dodge.
Well,
I assume it's direction of travel then.
Well, yeah. So it'd be like Dark Souls. So if you're holding left and you dodge,
Holding left with what? Oh, with the key. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. All right.
WASD probably, or the controller.
It just threw my mind for a second.
Okay, you're thinking that you press space and the AI would just say, right, he wants to dodge in this direction.
Yeah. It was just I didn't connect
Dynamic
it.
dodging.
I didn't connect it for 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's been worse on games. I have to say there are some games
fixed dodging
where it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I think the biggest issue with this game is, one, the amount of enemy types that there are seems
limited.
From this developer build that we're watching, very limited. We've seen maybe 5
as well.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe 5 different types of enemies, and in any zone, not that many actual enemies. I mean, obviously more of the rubbish, bullet enemies,
the trash mobs.
Yeah, but and then
what?
It's like encounter, mini boss, encounter, boss, done.
Yeah. It's very unmemorable.
But what's he trying to do? Like, what's the character? He's just going from point A to point B.
He's trying to get to point B.
I think he's trying to end this nightmare for you.
He's trying to get out of here.
Turn it off.
Well, I think the character lives on persistently, so all you've done is like put him in purgatory.
Turn it off. No, I genuinely, I didn't understand what he's trying to do.
Well, we haven't seen what the objectives are, but you got somewhere. You can run. When you counter the NPCs at the beginning, they give you objectives. So we haven't been looking too much. The thing is, I like the idea of it. It's, the post-apocalyptic, demons thing. We've seen it a couple of times. There are a couple of other games out there. There's one, the Arctic one, where it's sort of similar, but it's like the combat is just not exciting enough. Next up, we have a game that's popped up. You saw it on Steam. I saw it on Steam. Did you see it on Steam? Where did you come across this one?
I don't know how I find things anymore. They just appear in front of my eyes.
He had a vision. He was in the sweat lodge, and the spirit showed him. Oriental Exorcist. It's
PhamtomLimb does not go to sweat lodges.
No, he goes to sausage parties.
Only kind of other sausage fests.
Okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Right. Anyway. First thing to note about this game is that the graphics are gorgeous. Side-on sort of action adventure, very much like
The Messenger,
Odin's Sphere, or there was whatever the sequel was. Is
that Kevin Costner film?
No, it's a rip-off of Ninja Gaiden that came out a few months ago.
Anyway,
Steam.
Very very detailed sort of side-on 2D sprites and stuff.
Not roguelike.
Not roguelike?
I don't think this is... Not roguelike, but also not Metrovania style.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any backtracking. There's no...
Yeah, it's a sort of open world. You run from left to right to complete the level, sort of thing.
Constantly.
As opposed to backtracking and multi-leveled areas. But the presentation for it is just... It's very, very good.
It's almost like paper animation crossed with very well integrated effects.
The combat system is shown to be fairly complicated, complex in that the character has a lot of types of slashing attacks. However, given the size of the character and the play area, it's a case that how much of them are really going to be meaningful? Is it the case that it's context centered, like you press the button and the character goes through different slashes, or that if you press left and thing, or if you hold, you can pull out different strength of attacks or whatever. Because it's almost that the combat system is wasted, that you'll never need to get on. You can just spam the attack button and just cut through as long as the enemies are in sword range, you're going to hit them, you're going to do the damage, you dodge their attacks and you move on. Which is like I said, a shame, but still.
Potentially you change your weapon and that also might change your attack as well.
Maybe.
Some games do that.
Sometimes, but the thing is, given that the character is samurai-esque, it's usually that the most change you'll get is a more powerful sword instead of any more different combat mechanics. But yes, very nice sort of Japanese mythology folktale stuff. You fight various demons and spirits.
He's got tiny trotter feet.
He's obviously skipped foot day at the gym.
Is that what you do to get big feet?
So I've heard. But yes, not too much information on this one yet, but definitely one to look out for in terms of for interest anyway. What was the sequel to? I can never remember these things now.
It's because you're so old. What was the sequel to what?
Odin Sphere. It wasn't a sequel, but it was from the same studio. Vanillaware. Vanillaware was the studio. They made these 2D games where you go left and right. It's almost like the game Defender, but like as a 2D slasher. So you go left. Enemies attack you from the left and right, and you have to sort of fight them. What else?
This is made by Wildfire Games, if anyone cares.
Wildfire, okay. Okay. Anything else to add to this one?
No, just PQ'd my eyeballs when it fell into
When's
their
it coming
gaze.
out? What for?
It's coming out for the Steam and PlayStation 4. Release date, I do not know.
I cannot look that up. What is this called? This is called...
I believe Steam intimates PC, or if you have a defunct Steam box, probably not on that.
And the game runs Linux.
Probably not on that.
You may be in luck.
Listen, right. 1% of people out there run Linux.
1% of 1%.
The release date is 2020. Nothing more specific than that. And considering...
In a couple of months then. Amazing. Sweet.
Yeah, it could be a couple of months. But considering... you look at that...
What month are you in?
it looks to be...
It's a fancy watch.
It looks to be fairly complete.
It does look not...
Yeah, they could release that as a... what's it called? They call it a preview release. What do they call that? The thing where they make you pay for the beta.
What, they make you pay to be a bug tester?
Yeah. Is it called preview release? Or... Well, no, anyway, they could do... they could do that and get away with it, because this looks to be good.
They could do that and get away with it because that's what everyone else does. I think it's the correct phrase.
It's like everyone else is raking in the money early. We might as well do that ourselves.
Yep.
Okay, next up we have Final Gear. This is it's how to describe it? It's like Metal Slug meets, what's the phrase? Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, or something like Golden.
It's like a side-scrolling fighting game.
Yeah.
Where you can move up and down screen, essentially, like Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, Final Fight, Turtles in Time.
Yeah. Golden Axe.
Sengoku, I believe it was one of the ones on the Neo
back
Geo.
when arcades used to exist.
Was that Sengoku, or was that the RPG?
That was Sengoku, yeah.
Yeah.
On the MVS.
Anyway, but this like Metal Slug, this is a shooting game in which you control girls in mechs.
Yes.
Girls in mechs.
Yeah,
my favourite type of girl.
It's favourite type of girl.
I want to see an ad like the starting of a TV show called Girls in Mechs.
Girls in mechs.
the promo for
girls having mechs.
Let's fund that.
Ill-fated.
Let's fund that.
Out on mobile. It's German.
Out on mobile.
Out on mobile.
Out on mobile.
Let's not offend our German listeners, please. Right. It's a hero collector, so you play through the game. They give you characters, and obviously there's a gacha system.
For that? Is that the phrase for that? That's amazing. I've never heard that phrase before.
But they're called gacha games from the Japanese gachapon.
Gotcha.
No, it's gacha.
Non-lemons.
You know the coin operated machines where you put a coin in, you get a little plastic ball with a toy or sweet inside. In Japan, it's called gachapon.
Yeah.
So in Japan, they have lots of things where they dispense little toy models.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you collect them.
Yeah.
And here, because you collect the heroes, it's the phrase has been thing. So they're called gacha games. In that you play through the game, you get an in-game currency, or you fork out real money to get the same currency, and then use it to pull and get heroes. And the object is to collect your favourites, or the ones that you find that you like the appearance of, etc., etc.
Notice the luring.
Yeah. One thing I do like about this game is that, as I said, the characters are each in their own mech suits. And it has a configuration mechanic where, as you play through the game, you collect parts, weapons, arms, legs, etc. And you can configure the mechs. So if you want to get ones with for close range combat, you can fit them with chainsaws. If you want them with to do heavy damage, you fit them with rocket launchers. You want them to be more mobile, you put wheels or treads, and so forth. And the whole building mechanic. It's very cute. With you see them in the hangar, and these arms come and pull off the bits and then reattach the new parts that you've got them. The gameplay is fairly simplistic. It's like a basic shooter. You go in, you clear stage. You shoot enemies, and 2 minutes later, you're done. And you go on to the next one. But it seems a bit more involving than. A lot of the other mobile games out there. I just thought I'd bring it up. It's just come out in China in the last couple of weeks. It's got a bit of coverage amongst the mobile game streamers that I follow. Everyone's hoping for a global release, but who knows? The voices are done in Japanese. All the text is in Chinese, but there is a lot of English. Considering
all the HUDs in
English. So a lot of all you need to do is just throw some translators at the story, and you're pretty much good to go. This can be
story.
Yeah, the story inverted commas. It's just
DuckDuckGo translate.
Yeah, it's just a flimsy excuse to say, right, these characters are fighting this big bad, and here's a bunch of people to collect in order to help you to do that. That's all there is to it.
What OS is this on?
This is on Android.
Okay.
I don't know that it's been that's right. It is in Japan. In China, it is available on.
So can you
on Apple as well?
Can you actually get it on Can you get it on the Google Store?
No, it's not available on the Google Store yet. Okay. But if you wanted to play it now, there are
you can sideline.
There are there are guidelines. You sideline it. You create an account with a Chinese email address from one of the big providers.
Yeah.
You register on the website. That you just, as long as the guides tell you which fields to fill in, select it. You create an account and bang, you're in the game. The only problem is just that obviously you have to deal with a lot of the Chinese text, so you won't know why you're blowing up all these enemy robots. But for some people that doesn't necessarily
care.
Yeah, it's a case that you're just after the next cute waifu, and that's all that drives you.
Got to catch them all.
Yeah, got to catch them all. So that's why I thought I'd raise, because it was interesting.
That's Final Gear.
That was Final Gear, and
not available.
Not available yet. Hopefully,
but available.
Hopefully to come
not available, but
come
available.
soon. I can add it to my rota. Anyway, shall we move on to the next thing? Okay, next up we have something very impressive for the most part. It's a Blind Faith, Forsaken. There is a colon between...
Bleak Faith.
Bleak. Bleak?
Bleak.
Oh, sorry, Bleak Faith. I'm going blind. Yeah, Bleak Faith, colon, Forsaken.
He has no faith.
Why is everything always Forsaken?
Because
look at him, he's all grey.
Yeah,
this is for the PS2.
It was Forsaken.
PS2 exclusive.
It was Forsaken by all the people who like colour. It's a Soulsborne-esque game. The big thing is that it's...
Well, we don't really know that.
We don't really know that, but the gameplay indicates that it's very similar in vein in terms of combat.
He looks very Romanesque, Spartan.
Yeah, no, a lot of the influences...
Other armours are available.
Yeah. But what's it called? There is during one of the cutscenes where he encounters a whole group, and they all have a very similar, themed armor for that whole Grecian type. It's a 2-man studio, which, all things considered, given that the detailing and stuff, is very impressive. It's quite a surprise in this day and age to have something so polished be available. Even just say, okay, this is what we've put out just for the Kickstarter. It's like we have like a game engine, we have like enemy AI, all this stuff. We have rendered cutscenes, and we're a 2-man studio.
We have exploding arrows,
and now we're trying to get the Kickstarter going.
Well, they've done it the right way. They've actually made something to show,
as opposed to saying, "Here we have some concept art. Would like you to give us some money in order to make this, moving." It's unlikely these guys are going to run away and go, "Ha, we've got your money."
Where are they based?
I believe, if memory serves me correctly, the lead programmer is American. He was from I think Eastern Europe or something, and he went to he moved to America and he went to college there, and after that he decided to go into game development, or he was doing things, but he said, right, going to make a game, and this is his first try. So him and some other dude is producing this, and it looks to be very impressive. I believe that they're fairly well up on their Kickstarter goals. So hopefully they get enough cash to get it going. But yeah, one thing mentioned in the Kickstarter video is that the guy said, just like last week I bought the motion cap suit, the mocap suit, so that you could start doing motion capture for the characters, which just gives an indication of just how much work that they have to do between the two of them. They pretty much have to do everything. And also they mentioned that they weren't intending to expand the team any.
Are they not?
No, he essentially wanted to keep it as small as possible, which is just
I guess the money will go further that way.
Oh yeah, a whole level of insanity.
It will also.
But that means it's going to take 15 years.
But the thing is, you look at that game.
The pool of skill is much smaller.
But you look at how much we've seen so far. the majority will be just world building at this point. Just saying, right, okay, we're going to have this area and this area. We're going to have these enemies. And I mean, there is a fair bit of content in there already.
It does remind me a little bit of Hellblade that came out a couple of years ago. Hellblade. Where that... Obviously, the game's not solely an action game. It kind of deals with mental illness and depression as well.
Yes, I remember that.
But like, has a very similar feel as even like a character that looks not dissimilar to the main character from
the one with the face paint.
Yes.
Yeah.
I suppose that you could say it's kind of like a post Roman Empire Bretonian look, but that sort of...
Yeah, I did get those kind of vibes when I saw that in the trailer as well. But obviously, it said that looks familiar, but it didn't trigger. But yes,
but even like the combat, like back swipes and twirling and things like that, sort of remind me of it strongly.
Is the combat in Hellblade also quite fluid in terms of?
Oh yeah, it looks awesome. Yeah, like it's on my Steam list to buy eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a refined version, shall we say.
Yeah. They
put a lot of effort into motion capture, into the combat system, and obviously into the story as well, because it deals with quite a sensitive subject.
Yeah, that was. I do remember reading about. It's called Ninja Theory. They're talking about because they decided to use the elements of the schizophrenia or whatever. It was that they were very, very self-conscious about how to handle it all, and realizing that the moment you say, right, we're just going to make a mental as it's a bullet point on the box, or that we're going to like say, mental people are just dumb. It was just sort of the negative connotations. They were very, very careful in the handling of it. I'm not sure how critically acclaimed the game got to be, because
it won a BAFTA.
Wow,
that's so critically acclaimed.
That's pretty much. Yeah, I suppose you think, but what
if that means anything to anyone?
What is the weight of a BAFTA in terms of video games? I think how many games win a BAFTA?
I think it was deemed as a success for what it was. Nobody said this is a pile of crap.
Yeah, which is the best possible case, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, on the level of gameplay, it works.
Yeah.
On the level of getting an understanding of what somebody could be going through, it works.
The motion, the character animation stuff is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, Ninja Theory, very good at that.
Literally months of work.
Yeah.
And that was a whole team, and it was Ninja Theory who been doing this for...
Yeah, since the beginning, since they started.
Yeah, literally decades.
This is their thing.
So imagine a 2-man studio trying to get close to that.
Yeah, but it's like
good luck.
Yeah, but I mean, for the game that they
are. I mean, good luck. I'm not saying it in a disparaging way.
Yeah,
what we've seen is very
impressive.
Yeah, for 2 men and a couple of years' work.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen a lot more people produce a lot less in a lot longer. Hellgate London, I'm looking at you.
Hellgate London's going to be our
Bill Roper, I'm looking at you.
It's going to be our whipping boy for the next few months, I think. Or every time we come across a game that says, you know what this reminds me of? Hellgate London, but better.
But not as much money, not as much time, not as many people, and still not as crap.
Yeah, unbelievable. I wanted to like Hellgate London, I really did, but when the reviews came out, I read it, I was like...
The reviews? I bought the game!
Yep, I read reviews before I buy games.
Reviews... No, but reviews...
Oh, here we go again.
Reviews are inherently skewed by the idiots who write them.
Okay.
Also, you can't get a balance of what this person has liked before unless you know who that person is and read every review that they've done.
They did not like the game, and so...
And you... took it hook, line and sinker.
Are you saying I should have bought Hellgate London?
No. Well, I am saying you should make your own mind up.
So what you're saying is I should buy Hellgate London, make up my mind that I shouldn't have bought Hellgate
it's
London.
Available on Steam. I believe it's about £7-10. And
in your estimation, is it worth that money?
No. I paid not a lot for it. and I played it for probably
not a lot,
25 to 30 hours.
Wow.
I'm surprised that the all the reviewers got their copies to run because
Yeah,
it was broken
buggy
as
F.
I don't remember that. I do. I remember it was being thing, but not.
But it wasn't like now. You get a patch every week for games that are running fine.
Yeah.
With that, there were no patches.
No, there were no patches, but it wasn't. There was weird stuff happening all the time.
Teleporting, glitching through walls, enemies that wouldn't die. There were so many things. Every glitch you could possibly imagine.
What they should have done was add a patch that just says nightmare mode. Done. Enemies can't die. It's nightmare mode. Deal with it.
You're constantly playing nightmare mode.
Yeah.
Yes, you're living the nightmare.
Or just like re-release it, like nightmare mode, like a boxed edition with like charge more, extra difficult.
Got to get our revenue back.
Going back one step to something we were going to discuss I should have brought it up when we were talking about Final Gear.
Yeah.
Your waifu central game.
Yep.
Microtransactions in game.
Microtransactions. Yes, it's
they are available with that game.
It is as with the majority of free to play, the absolute majority of free to play mobile games. They are funded through microtransactions. As I said, they use an in-game currency, and you can spend real money to purchase said in-game currency, so you can do more pulls on the gachas or to unlock costumes, which are
if you get
generally
the
more
same
skimpier.
thing?
Tough. It's essentially.
Oh, so you could just accumulate 900 Pikachus.
RNG is RNG. They literally
RNGs
what it is the case that because pay to win is terrible, people hate it. You have to say, even if you're going to pay, even if you're a whale and you're going to say, I'm going to buy a shit ton of the in-game gold so I can get the extra characters.
Such good phrases.
They are still subject to the same RNG. So that way, the people who play for free, they don't say, oh, it's unfair. They paid money and they are guaranteed such and such that gives them an advantage. It is, they may pay. I play a game called Destiny Child, not the group. It's a game. Just so I'd preemptive. And
I was wondering for a hot second where I know that name from.
So some of the
I've forgotten them.
Some of the it's called, they offer in-game packages for the events and stuff where you can pay $60 to for a chance to get the event characters. You're
$60,
right?
No. The thing is for a chance.
Yeah.
Is it?
So,
hold on.
Let me describe it. So we got is right. The thing they got in the game, they have this mechanic. It's a thing called the Lucky Box. Costs like $40. Costs about $40. There are when you open the Lucky Box, there are 4 different.
Insert joke here.
There are 4 different prizes.
Paying for
prize
a Lucky Box.
Prize
one.
one
To go, kids.
Prize 1, you get 3 copies of the event character. Prize 2, you get 2 copies. Prize 3, you get 1 copy. Prize 4, you get 0 copies. You just get a bonus for a 5-star character, so you can pull and you get a random 5-star, but not the event character. The odds for getting prize 4, 90%. Prize 3, 3%. Prize 2,
3%.
It's 4%, 3%. So you have a 10% chance to get one of the good prizes, and even then, so you could spend $40 and you have a 90% chance of getting the booby prize. That, of course, is like, if you're crazy and you have money to burn, that's fine. So this is fine because they don't. If you spend money, you're not necessarily guaranteed. Oh, I'm going to get the powerful character.
Why is it $40?
Because these game manufacturers, these game producers, have no concept of what's a fair prize. They do have like things where you can spend.
That's insane.
The prices they go up. Trust me, you don't. You can spend like $90 for in-game currency, and you get like a pittance, and it's like
last week.
Not worth.
Last week, I could have bought Rage 2, a game that came out
yesterday.
Looks at Imaginary Watch.
Couple of months ago.
Plus DLC.
Plus DLC that is free. They've
free DLC.
That
you get commitments to free DLC,
right? For £20.
£20, and we're talking like $40 for a 10% chance to get one of the special characters that you want.
But That's $40 is insane.
On the forums for this game, people mentioned that they spend hundreds of dollars and they get no luck to get these things. And it's like
you're tempted to say
microtransactions. Anyway, so
but
you see, this is
but the thing is, this is it, because the game is free. The absolute majority, 97% of the game base, will not spend a penny for it. Well, let's say 90%. About 7% would spend, say, here's a $5. I appreciate the game. It is worth a $5. That's fine.
Sure.
And then you got the 3%, which are the whales, who say, I have more money than sense. I want this in-game feature, and they'll pay for it.
And
these are the people that pay for the game.
Yeah, but I'm fairly certain that those games will also have advertising revenue inbuilt, stuck into them.
The game Destiny Child has no in-game advertising.
No.
Okay.
No, it's all transaction.
Okay.
That must be
in the land of
the exception.
No, the majority of them.
In the land of microtransactions, right? This sounds even crazier than normal, because if I go to like, I don't know, Fortnite or Path of Exile, both of which I know for sure people spend hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars on microtransactions.
Yeah.
Right? But I can go into the in-game shop and buy the thing I want. I don't have to roll the dice on a chance, 10% chance.
Isn't it? They're cosmetic. That's the difference.
Yeah. But the thing is,
but it's not a chance.
So
I'm getting it.
Yeah, but it's cosmetic. It's not game.
But I'm
affecting.
getting it.
But it's not game affecting.
Okay,
you're missing the point.
Let me think. This is one mechanic. They also have other things where they have a system where essentially they call it Devil Pass, where you can get guaranteed rewards and there are special characters as a guarantee and costumes. So that one, that costs $60.
So it's cheap. Okay,
you can pay less and roll the dice, or you can pay more and get a guarantee.
It's only $20.
But that's what makes it not play to win, though. That's my point. It's not pay to win. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because it's only a cosmetic effect. It doesn't. It doesn't give you anything else.
This isn't really a pay to win either.
It's not.
Getting the character is just a cosmetic, basically.
Well, no. Because each of the characters have different abilities. So some of the characters, like for events, some of the characters have abilities that make them good against the particular boss and stuff.
Sure.
But there are usually you can get the character for free as well.
Yeah, but that's
just
why
by
it's a
playing
chance.
Yeah.
That's why that's the difference. It's a chance because it's game changing in a way.
Now,
and cosmetics are not.
There is another game called Overhit, another mobile game, came out about 3 months ago.
That name again, please.
Overhit. So the word over, the word hit, combine them. I think it's like a sequel to the game Hit. So anyway,
and Overwatch exists, so let's put that in.
Yeah, Overwatch.
So people can confuse
that. So Overhit.
And the number 2 exists, so we can't.
Right. So this game.
Hit 2. What are you even saying?
This game again. It's another hero collector. You collect heroes and stuff. Now the game again microtransactions, and for the longest time that was fine. In the game, you could buy cosmetics using in-game thing for your characters. Say, oh look, they're wearing a maid costume, or they're dressed as a police officer. Stuff like that.
The usual.
Recently, the developers for the game added cosmetics that add stats, and these cosmetics are only available with paid currency. So they've made the game pay to win.
Yeah.
Whereas almost all the other games I've ever come across, they're either a stupid random chance, so you get punished by opting for it. But if you get
for not giving
good luck,
money.
Good luck to you. Or that it's just cosmetic and it has no real game effect, or that a free-to-play player can obtain it by no means. They just have to grind for it. All it takes is dedication. But in Overhit, this new feature, these new cosmetics, not available with the free currency, only available with the currency you get through by spending by purchasing it, and
that's insidious and totally wrecks their player base.
It does. But the thing is, it only wrecks the player base in the sense if other players realise that it's happening, because they may see it and go, but they may not realise. Oh, wait a minute, that's pay to win. Of course, like I said, the streamers that I follow, some of them, the moment it came out, was like, news alert. Newsflash,
I'm sure,
they've added this feature.
I'm sure if you searched for it, you would see it.
Yeah. This is not the first time it's happened to mobile games, some other things, but generally it doesn't because you know.
This sounds like a final cash grab, but killing the game.
But the thing is, the game literally only went global like 3 months before that.
Oh wow!
So it's like the game's less than a year old global.
That's stupid.
I know it's been out. It's been out in Japan for I think nearly 2 years, but it's the case that it's just a really weird course of action.
That really does sound like a cashing out thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, generally they'd say, well, we have content for so from the Japanese side to run it up until that at least 2 year period. So it'd be weird. It's just a weird course of action, but. Yeah, microtransactions. There's so many ways you can handle it. There are good ways and bad ways, and
we've talked about some bad ways.
Yes. Incidentally, with Fortnite, are any of the weapons? You can't. None of the weapons. It's just cosmetics.
You pick the weapons up in the game.
Yeah. So literally cosmetics only for.
Yes.
Okay.
That's all it ever was.
Okay. I've not played Fortnite, so I'm not.
Neither have I. But I have eyes.
Okay. I don't look at Fortnite.
I was about to say that I have eyes too, but I choose not to look at it.
But I have seen it, irrespective of whether I look at it or not.
Okay.
It's a great game, though. Great game.
Anyway, I think that's all we have time for.
Okay. Well, that was the Digital Suffering Podcast, the podcast where we suffer so you don't have to. That was the Digital Suffering Podcast. If you'd like to suffer some more, you can find other episodes on Red Circle, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple iTunes, Stitcher, Radio Public, and SoundCloud. Please like and subscribe everywhere.